Now at 6 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, a migrant bailout in Goliad County. State Agriculture Commissioner Sid Miller will speak in Victoria Thursday. And Cayman Furniture's Christmas giveaway happened today.
That sounds like fun. Well, folks, we had another spring-like day. Temperatures in the 70s, but the cloud cover sort of piled up on us late today. However, we've got a little bit of rain out in West Texas, but that's not the big one. The big one's on the West Coast, and I'll tell you when it'll arrive with some possible thunderstorms this coming weekend.
And we've got UIL realignment tomorrow, and we get to more scores from last night. Join us for all that more. I've got that coming up in sports.
All right, you're watching 25 News now at 6. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker. Karina Garcia has the night off. Got this word just moments ago. Senator John Cornyn announced today that SkyWest Airlines was awarded $19.1 million in federal funds to be distributed over a 3-year term. This grant will provide essential air services to and from the Victoria region, including 12 round-trip flights per week from Victoria Regional Airport to Bush Intercontinental Airport in Houston. This funding comes from the U.S. Department of Transportation through the Essential Air Services Program. The Goliad County Sheriff's Office is working a bailout at Clip Road and U.S. Highway 59. Authorities tell us they have 10 people in custody with up to 3 more in the brush. Deputies are working with Border Patrol to locate them. Texas Agriculture Commissioner Sid Miller will speak in Victoria tomorrow. Miller will speak at a campaign event for State Representative District 30 candidate A.J. Louderback. The event will be at the club at Colony Creek, 301 Colony Creek Drive, from 5 o'clock to 7:30 p.m. The event will also feature a message from Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton. This afternoon, a whistleblower lawsuit against Paxton's office, we find out, will continue. A judge ruled Wednesday, raising the possibility that Paxton could be forced onto the witness stand in the future. The Dallas Morning News reports in a bid to end the lawsuit, Paxton asked a state district judge in Travis County to impose a judgment in favor of the whistleblowers. The judge rejected the request, siding with lawyers for the whistleblowers who argued that Paxton and his agency had not admitted guilt in the case. A Faces of Homeless panel will be held Thursday afternoon in Victoria. The panel provides a chance for talks between people who have experienced homelessness with those who want to learn more about homelessness. The panel will be at the UHV West Alcorn Auditorium, room 204 at 3007 North Bend Wilson Street. Here's your viewer poll this evening. Scan that QR code on your screen to vote now. And here's the question. What do you think is the main reason for homelessness? Is it inadequate affordable housing, unemployment, mental health, substance abuse issues, lack of social support, or limited education? And the choice that got the most votes, substance abuse. 46%, I believe I see there. We thank you so much for voting. We want to know your opinion. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part, and I will have an update on 25 News now at 10. The South Texas Blood and Tissue Center is urgently asking for blood donors of all types. The center especially needs type O and platelet donors to make an appointment now to meet the daily hospital demand. The need for blood, especially type O, is particularly high. O-negative blood is critical because it can be used for any patient in an emergency, while O-positive is the most common blood type. Platelets are also urgently needed to support patients undergoing chemotherapy and suffering from traumatic injuries. The National Weather Service has posted a river flood warning for the Crossroads. The warning for Victoria and Calhoun counties is in effect until Thursday morning for the Guadalupe River near Bloomington. At 9 o'clock a.m. today, the river was at 22.4 feet. Flood stage is 20 feet. And now let's take a first look at your forecast. Here's First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Pettis. And of course, the great weather we're having this week is really helping these rivers go down.
Well, absolutely. I mean, we had the 4 days of solid rain, and then all of a sudden it all ended. So the good news is, yeah, most of the rivers along Texas are beginning to get back into bankful. Tonight we've got quite a bit of cloud cover over us, a little rain out in West Texas, but that is not going to make it into our area. What is on the West Coast. It's a very large Pacific storm system that's going to be affecting our weather Friday night into Saturday morning. We'll have more on that coming up in just a moment.
Mac, thank you. Hallettsville just set its all-time January rainfall record at 10.9 inches. The Hallettsville Tribune-Herald reports that broke the record set in 1934, 90 years ago. It was Hallettsville's rainiest month since Hurricane Harvey in August 2017, when over 22 inches fell. Election day for the Victoria mayoral election is this Saturday. 14 polling centers will be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. On the ballot, Peter Brown, Carissa Winters, Josephine Solis, Dwayne Crocker, Jacob Sauceda, and Bob Constantine. Join us Saturday for complete coverage of the special mayoral election. Former President Donald Trump has won the last remaining unresolved delegate from New Hampshire. The AP reports that gives to Trump a 13-9 delegate advantage in the Granite State over former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley. The AP allocated the final delegate based on the latest vote results from the January 23rd primary. Only 2 candidates received more than 10% of the primary vote in New Hampshire. Trump, who received a little more than 54%, and Haley, who received a little more than 43%. 3 people were injured in a water pipe explosion at a construction site in the Austin area. KVUE reports the explosion happened while workers were cutting on the pipe. One of the patients was transported to the hospital with serious, potentially life-threatening injuries. OSHA says it has opened an official investigation into this incident. A large fire has finally been put out at a chicken farm near Bryan. KBTX reports it's not known what sparked the blaze at Feather Crest Farms. One of the structures destroyed in the fire did contain live chickens. Around 100 first responders from several counties were on the scene when the fire broke out. Crews have continued to monitor the smoldering buildings, including checking the air quality for carbon monoxide. The investigation into the cause of the fire is ongoing. The Kamen Furniture Company delivered furniture to a home in our area today. It's their annual Magic of Christmas giveaway, which was postponed in December. Kamen Furniture has done this for several decades. 25 News Now weekend anchor Adam Seibel will introduce us to the family tonight on 25 News Now at 10. Here's some of the top headlines you can read in the Port Lavaca Wave. The Calhoun County Commissioners Court approved their agreement with VEDC to provide economic development services in the Calhoun County area. And the Calhoun Port Authority Board won the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence Award. Plus, the Point Comfort City Council approved Lori Sparks as councilwoman after Laura Kurtz's resignation. You can read these stories and more at theportlavacawave.com. An Atlanta area mom is accusing UPS of losing her son's ashes, but UPS says they do not accept shipments of human remains.
If you ask me, it's just like a repeating nightmare.
Tanjanika Lee says she feels like she's lost her 15-year-old son DeAndre all over again. First to a fentanyl drug overdose 4 years ago. Now his remains are unaccounted for after she shipped them to her sister, who is making a custom cremation urn.
I cremated him because I had not seen him in 7 whole years. So I cremated him so that he could be right here with me and we could travel together and we could do things together. And he ain't here.
She told me she shipped his boxed ashes along with some gifts from this UPS store to her sister's address in Connecticut. When they failed to arrive some weeks later, she called police and went back to the store to ask if they knew what happened to the package.
Went inside of the store and pulled cameras from January the 8th, and they came back out to tell me that that package actually had left their facility, and it was nothing that they could do about it.
She told me UPS sent her this $135 check as compensation for the missing package containing her son's remains.
I just lost it. I started crying.
She says the store manager told her the package was last tracked to a UPS distribution center in Connecticut. She's now planning to go there to look for her son.
And he ain't here. He not here. I don't know where he at.
Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Then you can see Crossroads Today on YouTube. And stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 6. The Biden administration's latest plan to help pay for college students' loan debts. Also ahead, it's not too early to start planning for vacation travel. Perry High School students in Iowa returned to the school on Wednesday for the first time since the deadly school shooting there. On January 4th, a high school senior opened fire in the school, killing 11-year-old Amir Joliffe and injuring 7 others, including Principal Dan Marburger. The 17-year-old shooter died of an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. The district announced some changes that students can expect to see as they come back into the classroom. This includes an increased law enforcement presence. The Biden administration announced on Wednesday that it will try to deliver student loan forgiveness to borrowers experiencing financial hardship. CNBC reports in what has become known as Biden's Plan B for student loan forgiveness. The president has turned to the rulemaking process. The Department of Education is working to find pathways to forgive student debt for as many borrowers as possible while staying within the limits put in by the Supreme Court last year. Federal officials say a record number of fentanyl pills were seized last year in the Rocky Mountain region of the U.S. The DEA says approximately 3.4 million fentanyl pills were seized across Colorado, Utah, Montana, and Wyoming in 2023. That is a 79% increase from the year before and a 500% increase from 2021. It is also the highest number of pills ever confiscated from the region in a calendar year. Most of the pills were made in Mexico and contain chemicals that were shipped from China. Here's a look at some of the top headlines you'll find in the Cuero Record. The Cuero Chamber of Commerce hosts the State of Cuero Business Luncheon, and a Black History Month event is scheduled in Cuero for this Saturday. Read these stories and more at DeWittCountyToday.com. A federal judge has dismissed Disney's lawsuit against Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. The legal dispute stems from a bill he signed that gave him new power over the 47-square-mile district that contains Disney World. Disney previously held municipal control over the area surrounding its Orlando area theme parks. Dismissal of the suit is a victory for DeSantis, but Disney is pledging to press forward with its case. Join 25 News Now anchor Karina Garcia for the 2024 Crossroads Heart and Stroke Walk. The event takes place this Saturday at 8 a.m. The walk will start at 8:15 at Riverside Park, located on 311 Memorial Drive. To register or donate, visit crossroadsheartwalk.org to sign up. Summer is 141 days away, if you're counting. I was. But if you can't wait that long for warmer weather, now is a great time to book a winter getaway. Here are some tips on scoring the best travel deals.
the winter weather giving you the blues? Maybe you're ready to swap out the cold for much warmer temperatures. Now is a good time to book travel.
We're after the busy holiday travel season and before spring break.
Expedia travel expert and AKA the travel mom Emily Kaufman says it's best to book domestic air travel at least 28 days in advance. That can land you roughly 24% in savings. For international travel, she says it's best to book at least 60 days ahead, saving you about 10%, but no more than 4 months out. So if you're looking to go overseas this summer, now is the time to start thinking about plans. But remember, traveling during peak summer season likely won't land you any deals, but holding off until September can help you find cheaper prices.
If you have any flexibility, it's going to be less crowded and more affordable to go at different times.
Being flexible on destinations can also land you some deals.
We're seeing an uptick in people visiting places that are a little off the beaten path, but still have the same vibe and flavor of the more popular destinations. For example, Curacao instead of St. Martin, Taipei instead of Seoul, Memphis instead of Nashville.
Being flexible with the day of your departure and arrival can also help you find cheaper options, like traveling during the week instead of the weekend. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Well, good evening, everybody. We're looking at 63 degrees right about now. It's another good day. All of a sudden, some clouds rolled in late in the afternoon and sort of obscured the sun. But we got up to 72. Feels like springtime, didn't it? Well, it'll be still on the warm side through Friday, but then it's Friday night into Saturday. We may have some stormy weather around here. We'll be talking about that coming up in just a moment. Well, good evening, everyone. If you can't see me, it's because I'm not there. I'm actually off camera. My clicker's not working so good. But there you see the cloud deck that came in late this afternoon and gave us a little bit of cloudy skies. Other than that, it was another spring-like day, temperatures into the 70s. We have some few showers out in far west Texas right now, but that's not the main event. The main event is this thing. It's a monstrous Pacific storm. It's the second one that is affecting the West Coast. In fact, places like Pismo Beach, Morro Bay, all the way up San Francisco, all the way to Medford, Oregon, they're going to be getting 40, 50, and 60-mile-an-hour winds as that storm comes ashore. Anywhere from 10 to 15 inches of rain expected in the next 2 days. So they're really under the gun. Now, that storm will eventually travel over the Rockies and affect our weather, but obviously it's not going to be that strong. There you see the overnight low temperatures, 49 in Victoria, 50 in Nixon, and 57 the low temperature in Seadrift. Tomorrow we'll get up into about 70 degrees pretty much everywhere. 68 at Port O'Connor, 70 in Cuero, 71 out in the Nixon area. Now, what we're looking at here is a very interesting map. This is out by the Severe Storm Prediction Lab in Norman, Oklahoma, and they've got a marginal chance of severe weather on Friday night into Saturday when that frontal system comes through our region. So we're going to have to talk more about that. Here's the river flooding advisory, and because it's still technically in flood, they're looking at the river warning. However, you can see right there in the middle, it's at 21 feet right now, and tomorrow morning it'll start dropping down below its back into its banks. All right, high pressure is now rolled eastward, and that's giving us the southeast winds. That's giving us the low level moisture and really making it feel like like spring or even summertime out there. But as we go into the future, there you see your Thursday. High pressure is going to continue pumping up the Gulf moisture, making it rather warm for us for Thursday and Friday. And then that big storm rolls over the Rockies. And then by the time we get to Friday night, it's Friday afternoon, it's somewhere out west of us. It's Saturday morning, about maybe 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning when the frontal system will pass. But in that period between Friday night and Saturday, we may have some stormy weather Saturday morning. Then on Saturday afternoon, that blows away, and by the time we get to Sunday, we're looking for improving weather conditions here in the coastal bend. So here's what we expect for Port Lavaca. On the cloudy side in the morning tomorrow, maybe a little fog, getting up to about 71. For your Cuero area, we're getting down to 55 and then up to 71. Morning clouds, afternoon sun. And then your 7-day forecast, well, there you see it. A little fog for Thursday and Friday, but into the 70s. Friday night after midnight is that frontal system, 50% chance of thunder showers. I'm talking thunder and lightning on Saturday morning. But by Saturday afternoon, that pulls away, and we're looking for a much better situation for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday of next week. That is your 7-day forecast. Reminding everybody we do have a QR code. We'd love for you to scan that. Put Crossroads Today on your phone. Don, we'll toss it back to you.
All right, Meg, thank you. And sports reporter Zach Brown is here. Huge day for high school sports fans tomorrow.
Yeah, everyone's going to want to pay attention to this one tomorrow. UIL realignment, one sleep away. I'll have that coming up in sports. It happens once every 2 years, and tomorrow is that day, UIL realignment. And as it was said a few months back, it is expected that Victoria East and Victoria West will be in different districts next year, but that should not take away from the East versus West game itself. They would likely just have it scheduled much earlier in the year, but of course we've got an entire Crossroads region that will learn of their new positioning. We will find those out early tomorrow morning. Last night in Bloomington, the boys walked away with a huge overtime victory as they try and keep the pace amongst the top in the district. But what about the girls? Well, they too pick up a big win as they look to continue their push for a playoff spot. The final score in that one, 44-29. Haley Gardner with 15 of the Lady Cats' 44 points. Kylie Proctor had 16, so we had some pretty impressive stat lines there. Over at Victoria East, the girls led 50-3 at the half over Ray, and this was the first possession of the second half. You kind of get the idea. The girls simply outmatching the Ray Texans en route to a 93-17 win. Cameron Jackson had 17 all by herself, which led the way. KK Cleveland and Celine Longoria followed that up with 16 apiece. Nevaeh Sanchez rounds out the double-digit scorers with 13. Girls still undefeated in district play. Yoakum also fighting for the postseason. This is the boys in third in that tight district race. They pull out the win over Tidehaven. Jamar Hopkins, 18 points, which leads the way for the Bulldogs. One team that we kind of sleep on, I guess, the Goliad Tigerettes. They just do squeeze by Aransas Pass. They are tied for first place in that district with only 2 games to go. And we also had some soccer in the area, starting out with the West ladies. They had to go to penalty kicks. They get a win there. Mia Fonseca only allowed the 1 goal in regulation. The girls went 5 for 5 in the PKs. Abby Adcock, Nia Ramirez, Kennedy Blow, Nadia Rodriguez, and Cassandra Baez finding the back of the net. The El Campo boys seem to be back on that championship path, winning 11-0 on the road in Palacios. They get Columbus on the second, and a big one with Calhoun on February 6th. And speaking of the Sand Crabs, well, they were just as dominant with a 10-1 win over the Wharton Tigers. They remain perfect in district at 3-0. John Moreno had a hat trick according to Wave Sports. Now, from one version of football to another, I'm talking about the NFL, we have one of the final 2 remaining head coaching positions filled. The Seattle Seahawks will reportedly hire Mike McDonald, who was the defensive coordinator of the Baltimore Ravens. McDonald, 36 years of age, is set to become the youngest head coach in the league. Only the Washington Commanders vacancy remains open. And Don, we had a great conversation earlier with our friend Randall Reed over at Faith Academy. They seem to be pushing for the postseason as well. He's done a great job of kind of bringing that program back, and they're playing some very competitive basketball over there.
Sounds great for Faith Academy. All right, Zach, thank you. We're back in a moment. An ancient tradition in Japan continues with people shoveling snow for storage inside an ice house. night, people shoveled snow for storage inside an ice house in central Japan as part of an old tradition. The annual winter tradition at the hot springs reenacts the Kago Domain's ancient practice of making ice from snow. In the days before refrigerators came to be, the clan presented the ice to the Shogun family in Edo in the summer. That's what they called Tokyo back then, Edo. The ice will be taken out of the storage house in late June, just in time for frosty beverages, which I don't know if they need that much in the heat in Japan. I don't know if they have much heat in Japan. We could use some around here.
We could use a whole igloo full of that stuff, you know, because the way things are going, it looks like we're already done with winter. Can you believe it?
Wow.
I mean, February's tomorrow. We haven't got spring. It's not till March. Summer's not till June.
I know.
So
flip through those calendars.
Yeah, I mean, we just have to rearrange the calendars. Tomorrow and Friday is going to look good. We'll have a little bit more cloud cover, but overall the temperatures will be in the 70s. Windy on Friday before that frontal system comes in. The rain is late Friday night, overnight into Saturday morning. By Saturday noontime, I think a lot of it is going to start pulling away. So if you've got Saturday plans, just consider a better time, like the afternoon, to get it done.
By the way, Saturday, the UHV Jaguars having a ring ceremony, and that's at 11:40 at Riverside Stadium, the UHV Jags.
Do they know the forecast? You better call them.
They know, but I'll message him and make sure he knows.
Make sure he knows the forecast.
Make sure they're safe at home.
I got you.
All right, thanks for joining us. We'll see you tonight for 25 News Now at 10. Have a good one, everybody.